Hi everybody, welcome to Pick Your Passion, hop number 3. I, like probably a lot of you, have a lot of passions. I'm very passionate about buying art supplies. If you look around my studio, I think, it would attest to that fact for sure. I started out as an acrylic painter, so I still really like painting in acrylics and using acrylics. I just started watercolor and I'm pretty passionate about learning to get better at that. But I think the thing that I find myself coming back to over and over again is art journaling, because there's just something so freeing about working in a journal. It's not going to hang on anyone's wall. It's not going in a gallery. You don't have to show anybody. You can get as personal as you want to, or you can share it as much as you like. So I started art journaling about 1.5 years ago. These are my journals, but I just thought I would show you the different kinds of journals. This is one that I made with materials that I had here. It's just small, and this is a abstract that I did the other day that I have a video for this, but it's just a cute little journal that I made, and it's fun to grab it every once in a while. So I have that one going now. This is a completed journal. I think this is actually my first foray into art journaling, and this was a little antique handwriting textbook, workbook that I altered. And so I just started playing and figuring out what is this art journaling that everybody's talking about, what's it all about, and trying to kind of discover my style, I guess. So some of these I like, some of them I don't. But this one is finished, goes in a drawer when it's done. This is my first sketchbook of just all faces. So I decided that I was going to just practice drawing a face a day. And it's fun to look back. It's been about 1.5 years for this as well. But it's fun to look back and see my progress. So, but this one is all filled up. I do belong to a couple of Facebook groups that basically do portrait drawings, so they keep me on my toes and learning, and they're a big help. This was my first altered book journal, and I painted the cover in acrylics, and again, just kind of finding my style. This was one of my favorite pages. This was when I discovered that I really love to work real intuitively and not plan anything, which is basically the primary way that I work now. So this was an old book. I think it was poems or something, poetry. This is another sketchbook that's just all faces. This was my Dollar Tree sketchbook. Paper's kind of smooth and thin, but it worked okay for graphite. So that's another completed one. These are the ones that I am currently working in. So this is an altered book journal. It was furniture refinishings, restyling and repair. So you may have seen, if you have watched any of my videos, you may have seen some of these that I worked on in the videos, practicing different background techniques. So there's only just a few pages in this one. I took a lot of pages out and then glued what was left together to make the pages more sturdy. So I have a few more to go in there. This is a journal that I made recently from the cover of an old book, and I just created different signatures. There's signatures of different papers. These papers I took from my Dilution Journal because it was getting too fat. I have mixed media paper, there's black paper, there's watercolor paper. So What's nice about this one is I can just slide a signature out because they're just held in place with this hairband. So I can take it out and put it on my table to work, and then when it's done and dry, I can just slide it back in. So I enjoyed making the cover of this one. It was a lot of fun. So that's a working journal. This is my Seven Gypsies journal. It is also a working journal. And it's a ring bound journal. The only thing I don't like about it is the pages often stick and are hard to turn. But it comes with these pre-printed pages, which is kind of nice because then you don't have to worry about what am I going to do for a background. But there's another layout that I did in a video recently. And my style is, like I say, I like to do abstracts, and I like to do things that have kind of a vintage feel. So you'll see that style more often than not. This is a journal that I'm using currently for practicing charcoal drawing and watercolors. It is watercolor paper. So that's what this one is. Just really started this. My daughter bought it for me, so it's got really nice paper in it. Also a working journal. This journal, I need to get back to this. This I made as part of a class with Jean Oliver, and this is my ancestors' journal. And this is a picture of the house where my grandmother grew up, which is actually right across the street from where I live now, because I am living in the house that I grew up in. And this is my grandmother holding one of her siblings on their porch. This was her watch. But, yeah, I'm just documenting. These are my great-grandparents, documenting where they came from and when they came to this country. They both died early, and so my grandmother and her 7 siblings were left orphans when the youngest were 3 months old. They were twins, the youngest, and the oldest was 13, and they basically lived in that little house and raised each other. So this, I'm documenting that journey in this journal. But I've gathered a lot of things for it, but I just have to wait for the inspiration to strike. But this journal is cool. It's got ledger paper. It's got brown, crunched up brown paper, drop cloth fabric, just old paper, flyleaf paper from an old book, book pages, tissue paper. So it's a fun book to work in. It's watercolor paper sewn onto canvas. So, yeah, this was, I think, an old Ohio history book. And I just bound it together and took the pages out. And my favorite of all, my good old Dilution Journal. This is getting so fat, it's almost full. But this is, if I'm journaling on camera, it's usually in this journal. You can throw all kinds of media at it, and yeah, it holds up really well. So, as you can see, I like to journal. I like art journaling. So I thought maybe I would just do a real quick layout for you today. And move some of these so I have some room. Maybe we'll just do something in that little journal. I was really happy when Peg asked if I wanted to join in this hop, and I hope you will visit all the other artists who are participating. Everyone has different passions, and I'm sure that you will find their projects extremely interesting and fun to watch. So, I don't know if you can see this. I put some corrugated cardboard on there and some modeling paste, and the back is just painted and stamped. So this is where we're at so far, and this is, I was just playing with the background technique with acrylic paint, and it turned out pretty cool. There is a video, in case you wonder how I did it. I'll put an iCard up there, you can go watch. I'm going to go through this really quick and I'll speed it up so you can just watch the process, since I've already taken a lot of your time showing you all my journals. But I'm just starting with Titan Buff High Flow Acrylic, and I'm just going to get some lightness going across the pages. Okay, this is all nice and dry. And you know, talking about passions, one of my other passions is creating layers in these journaling layouts that I have fun doing. But I'm just going to do a couple of just quick focal point layers today, in the interest of time, because I want you to have time to visit all the other artists and watch their projects as well. So you can see that the color is showing through, but it's not as strong in that area that I put across the pages. And I'm going to grab some matte medium and a brush. Matte medium is my favorite adhesive for journaling. So this lady came out of a magazine, and while the background seems a bit modern, her colors were just perfect to go on top of this. So we're mixing styles, and it's, like I said, it's a journal. You can do whatever you want in your journal. You are the boss of your journal. So I'm just going to do that because I like it. It's pleasing to me. And where do I want to put her? Maybe right here. Oh, this goes underneath. I always get ahead of myself. From this same magazine, I tea-dyed a page. So I want to put a piece of that under here. I really should have put that on the back too. And it's always best to put matte medium or your adhesive when you're collaging on the front and the back, and then also on your substrate. You will get way less bubbles and wrinkles. Things will stick better. Although this is not wanting to stick, I should have maybe used heavy gel. And I have another piece that I think, let's go diagonally. And then I have this piece of, I think it's Tim Holtz collage paper. Just got some cool old text or script on it. I'm just going to put that across the top just to kind of frame it out a little bit. And I have another little scrap of that. I'm just going to stick it on down there. And that's basically that page done. Then I have a couple of Tim Holtz instant relative pictures that I thought I would put on this side, but she doesn't go very well with the coloring here. So I have distressed ink and weathered wood, and I'm just going to put some down on my craft mat and and give it a spritz with water and see where that takes us. I'm going to drag this picture through there and just get some blue on there. And this is a fairly shiny paper, so it's wanting to separate, but you know what, I think that's okay because I think that'll look cool once it's dry, which I'm going to do right now. I dried these really well, but I could tell that some of that distress ink was still not wanting to soak into this shiny paper, so I'm just dabbing the excess onto a piece of deli paper. Hopefully that will keep it from smearing too badly, but you can see, I think, just that little bit of blue on there, and she coordinates much better with this page now. So I am going to only put matte medium on the back because I don't want to activate that ink on the front and have it move on me. This up, I just have Archival Ink in jet black. I'm going to go around the edges of these pages just to frame them out a little bit. Bring some onto the page a little bit here and there just to further give it kind of that aged feeling. I make art with my fingers. Doesn't matter what project it is. Maybe that's another passion. Arting with my fingers. It just, I don't care what I'm doing. I always end up with the messiest fingers in town. And that's okay. I don't mind. It washes, right? Most of it's water-soluble stuff, so it's not toxic. I've been making art for over 40 years. I'm still here. I've drank more paint water than you can imagine. Accidentally, of course. You know, the old cup of coffee here, cup of paint water there. Yeah. And then my other passion for sure is my Stabilo pencil. It is yummy and easy and wonderful, and I'm just going to run it around these papers, and then I'm going to activate it with some water on a brush. And we're going to get a nice shadow behind everything, which just will bring those focal points right out and really accentuate them. Push the background to the back. I'm going to come right on top of this paper a little bit and age that. A little bit onto the picture. I'm going to be careful of that blue ink though. There we go. I could go on and add more and more layers. You get the idea. And I might do that off camera. But for right now, for the purpose of the hop and to introduce myself to any of you who are not familiar with me or my channel, this is where I'm going to leave it so that you can go visit the other artists. So I really appreciate you watching. Please subscribe to my channel and subscribe to the other artists' channels. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked watching, enjoyed the process. Maybe share it with a friend. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.